go. Okay. So one of the two has to be muted. And like, yeah, there you go. Really, there's actually no reason for you to actually be on the phone.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. So I don't want the video on, but I don't know how to turn it off. Wait, how'd you do that?
Just there you go. Your camera's off, but you're in the meeting.
So I can talk through the computer?
Yeah, and
okay.
If you want to mute yourself, you can kind of still hear me a little bit in the background there. This is the mute. Muted and then push to talk when you want to talk.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's
cool.
an option if you want to do that.
Hey, Greg.
Hello.
Hello, Don. Don.
He's not up on chat
oh,
yet.
Oh. Why is he just like he doesn't have a microphone?
Mm-hmm. Why don't you give him a dial-in number?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he needs to dial in via that number.
Oh, maybe I should email them. I think I might have given them the wrong directions. Like they need to dial in the number too. Yeah. Computer?
He should be able to hear you, but
yeah,
without the plug-in, you can't talk. So that's why the audio conference line is there.
Oh, oh there it is.
Oh.
Hi, Don.
Hey, can you see me?
We can see you. I can see you.
Hey, Dwayne not here.
Well. Hi, Don.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I see somebody
Hey,
else.
Greg.
Hi, Barb. Hi, Don. How are you guys doing?
All right. I had my camera covered. Oh, there I am. Okay.
I think everybody does. My computer's actually, the camera won't work though. This is Dwayne. And I'm
Oh,
walking
that's
out to my
okay.
charger. I'm
That's
walking
okay.
out to my charger. Don's going to be the deserves all the credit for this job anyway. So.
Well, I think that Jen McDougall was going to join from USG as well, but she hasn't dialed in yet.
Who?
Jen McDougall. She works for Mark Joseph in the headquarter office.
Hello.
Okay.
Hello.
It's Stacy, and Jen is coming.
Oh, okay. How you doing?
Good. Who's on the call?
Barb and Greg from Gyro.
Hi,
And
Greg.
Hi, guys.
This is DonBrowning in New Orleans.
Did you say Don? I'm sorry.
Yeah, DonBrowning in New Orleans.
Yeah, Don, thank you so much. This is Stacy Craig.
Hey.
So we're waiting for Dwayne. Maybe we can give him a couple of minutes.
Dwayne's here.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Dwayne.
I can't do a visual, but I'm on the conference call. And DonBrowning deserves the majority of the credit on this. So.
Still waiting on the check.
I'm sorry?
Still waiting for my check.
Oh, nah, that's not true. That's not true. I was the expediter of material and all that entails.
Well, you're very sweet, but I have a feeling probably being modest.
Don deserves credit for the design of this project.
All right, so Jen just joined us. We have everybody on the call, Don and Dwayne included. Okay, so we are cognizant of the fact that we are gathering together late on a Friday afternoon. So that you can blame me for that, everybody. But thank you for making the time. And our Gyro friends do these project profiles / case studies for us off and on, and they do a terrific job. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, Greg is going to take the charge. He's one of our senior copywriters. And so we wanted to get you both on the call because, truth be told, even Jen and I are, I think, pretty ignorant on the specific project and all that went into it and products and all the background. So we wanted to get you both on the call simultaneously just to get the whole scoop of the project and how it transpired, and then that will help arm us, and particularly Greg, as we reach out to the other relevant parties to get even more details and quotes to include in the project profile. So if that sounds good with everybody, I'll hand it over to Greg.
Thanks, Stacy. That was perfect. It's funny. So for everyone who's on just the phone, this is the first time we're just over video. So Don, thanks for hopping on. It's fun to be able to do this face to face. Although I'm jealous that you're in New Orleans. Even the little I can see, it looks pretty sunny down there.
It's a beautiful day today.
I don't know if you can see my sweatshirt and hat, but it's a little bit different up here in Chicago.
Hey, Greg, I beg your pardon. Do you want us to try it? I haven't even tried.
Stacy, it's totally up to you. I mean, if you want to see Don and I's smiling faces, then by all means, I'd say that's
I of course do. That is, unless you look like a Unabomber or something, then we don't want to see.
I do have a little bit of Unabomber. It's Chicago in February. We all have a little.
You got long hair.
I do.
His long hair.
Yeah. So if you guys join on, that's whichever is good. So whatever's more comfortable.
Okay.
And then Stacy did a great setup. The only thing that I'll add is that, of everyone here, I'm unfortunately probably the least knowledgeable about everything. But You know, the goal is to make sure that I'm as knowledgeable as possible when I talk to everyone else. And then, you know, I think you probably saw in the setup for the project profile, but really what we're ultimately hoping to do is create a story that other people want to read, that people are going to see the value that was added by USG. So there's a bunch of questions. I don't know if you have them in front of you, but we sent over kind of a generic questionnaire. There's a lot of overlap with them, and we probably won't go through in order, but the whole goal here is to create a piece that gets people interested in reading it and gets people interested in talking to USG. So whatever the hook or the story, you know, past project profiles have been everything from environmental friendliness to the ability to work and create solutions for the client to just delivery, being able to bend over backwards for delivery. So there's a lot of stories to be told for sure. And then the last thing, and this goes out to everyone, is if I'm missing anything, please feel free to jump in with questions, or please throw out any information you think that I might have just passed over that you think would be valuable. So that's my long setup to just the question. Would you guys tell me a little bit about the project, what it entailed, what it was, and who the client was, and what the need was and the solution?
Don?
I'll start. I was involved back in the beginning. I think this thing actually started back in 2011. I was looking back through the files. Ochsner Hospital is a big hospital. I guess, I don't know if it's public now. At one time it was private, but a big hospital system in Louisiana. You know, big hospital in New Orleans, known for heart research, and then branches across Louisiana. They were expanding, and they were going to take a warehouse across the street from their existing hospital and then expand into an internal medicine medical office building. There was a, you know, and then when we got started, the ceiling design, the architect in New Orleans, Rosa Sward, Michelle Hanks was the actual architect who designed the ceiling, and she was looking for something very unique, a one-directional metal ceiling, meaning that you would only see it like a grid line in one direction. If you think about, I don't know if you look up at ceilings all the time, the general public doesn't. When you look up, you usually see ceiling tile and you see the grid runs in two directions, with the room and across, so that the tiles can lay in it. She wanted a system that would where you'd only see the grid in one direction. And so she had it specified by a system specified from Ceilings Plus, which is one of our competitors. We came in and took a look at it and said, we think, you know, we can do it. It wasn't one of our standard systems. We said we could modify one of our systems and provide you the look that you're looking for. And so we got to work on it. The ceilings group made some samples for us, and so that we could show her how it would fit together. She came in, we gave her pricing, and they were very happy with it, with the way it looked, the way it went together, and kind of switched the ceiling over to us. There was a delay in the project because the building they were working on, one of the walls fell in. There was a litigation for a while on who was going to.
Yeah, that's a story, Don, that you may want to tell. The building collapsed basically after hours, so all of the mechanics and of all types, of all trades, were gone. Thank goodness. And but it actually collapsed, and so that was a big issue and delayed it for what period of time, Don?
At least a year.
Maybe.
Yeah, it was probably a year that passed.
Maybe a year.
And then when it picked back up, then they decided they really needed to go fast and to get back on schedule. And, you know, we had our design approved, and then it was, you know, Dwayne's giving me all the credit, but then that's when he kicked in and, you know, worked with the group, the specialty ceilings group that was producing the material with USG to get this stuff in on time, to get this whole thing to come together.
Did the timing, obviously it was affected by the collapse, but then once that was resolved, was it like a go because they were already behind schedule?
Yes. Exactly. It was like once they finally got all the, you know, the issues resolved on who was who was going to, I mean, that's not part of us. It wasn't, anything we had to do. But once they decided to get back on track, they really sped it up and, wanted material there in a very timely manner. And
Okay.
so that's where we had to, Dwayne was very instrumental in getting stuff moving very quickly from USG.
Well, the specialty group deserves a lot of credit also. Greg Aaron, John Bankston, and Ferris, and those guys, because they actually built it. I mean, I didn't do it in my garage, so I mean, those guys were very responsive to us and to our needs, and we're able to get it in within a timely manner. I mean, in the field, it is go go go. There's you can almost never get material on time if it's non-standard specialty material. Yeah, a lot of calls, emails, but as far as the design, I think the designer said, Don, one day when you and I were out there, that she actually loved the way the look was. I mean, funny on Valentine's Day, I got nobody else to tell that to. So but yeah, I think didn't she say she loved the way it looked?
Yeah,
like
I was going to bring that up
the second time we were out there at the mock-up.
Yeah, she did say it that time, and then actually was last week and ran into her, and who was Michelle Hanks is her name, and she came in, she saw me, and she goes, "Have you seen the ceiling?" She was all excited, and I'm like, "Well, I saw it almost completely done, about 90% done." She goes, "It is gorgeous." She goes, "It turned out better than I ever imagined."
Wow.
So that, to hear architects say that is great, great feedback.
Yeah. Do you think she'd let us use a quote from her in the article?
I did. I think so. Yeah, I told her, I said, someone may be calling you, because I knew we were setting all this up. And, I'd given you her contact information. I said, somebody may be calling you to ask you, maybe for approval to maybe either take pictures or talk about the project. And she said, that's fine. She's very
great.
So.
Yeah, that's great. And hopefully we'll make her look great as well. However we refer to her, it'll be good for her.
She was,
right.
She had spec'd it with another company and had an idea of what their product would look like, and was a little nervous, but when we came in with a better price and told her we could do it and make it look just like she wanted it to, she bit in and joined in with us.
So how did you? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. How did we know about it, or?
Yeah, exactly. Like, if you could talk a little bit about all of that, how you found out about it and how you were able to the whole thing, like to convince her to switch over.
Well, the project has more than just the metal ceiling. I mean, it's a medical office building, and so the actual acoustical ceilings were specified USG, because Eichner uses us as a basis of design for their acoustical ceilings. When the specification came out, there was an acoustical section with acoustical ceilings in it. There was a metal section, and we read the metal ceiling section and saw what they wanted and who they had specified. It wasn't us, and my boss at the time, or my manager at the time, was a guy named Richard Merlin, and I talked to Richard. I said, I'm not sure we can do this. They want this special one-directional type system. And he looked at it and he goes, I think we can. And we began to talk with the specialty group with the USG about how we could accomplish it, and then came up with a plan. And then, like I said, made samples and got pricing together in time to submit for the bid.
So what was it about yours that convinced her? So basically, what was USG able to offer to her that said, it sounds like price was one of those things, but that got her to say, yep, I'm going to switch that spec.
We made her samples. We have a special edge on these ceiling panels, so that they interlock. It was unique, something we designed just for this project. And so we had samples made, got them made very quickly, and got them to her, show her how the system would hook together, and then the price was good too, and that always helps. But you know, from those things, she was more confident that we could do what we said we could do, and give her the look she wanted.
Who was it that designed that? So this is like, that's incredible. That'll be a huge piece of the story, is that you guys were able to design something that was just specific to this project, just for her work. Who does that?
John Bankston.
A guy named John Bankston. Yeah, it's John Bankston, who's with USG Specialty Ceilings Group. He's an internal architect, you know, designer with USG. He actually came up with the system and said, "Hey, this will work. This will give them the look they're looking for, and it'll our ceiling will hold together, even though we're not using but one direction of grid." So John has, you know, I've got to give him all the credit. Great job.
He did a great job.
That's awesome.
He needs to be mentioned in the article.
Definitely. And just the fact that USG has an internal architecture team that can just act as such support for the other architects out there is amazing. Like how, I guess, I'm still trying to understand, you saw this competing spec, you talked to your boss and your manager at the time, and he said, we can do it better. Was it just from his knowledge of past ceilings that gave him that confidence, or like how did then John Banks get involved, and how did he know what would be better for this ceiling? It sounds like I don't have any idea. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It gets really technical, and I don't know if we want to get into all of that. The system that was designed was called a torsion spring system, and that's, like I said, it gets very technical here. Torsion springs is a system where the panels kind of snap together and are held together by springs. I didn't even realize, but we at one time made a torsion spring system, but it's not in our current offering. And that's when my boss at the time, Richard, said, we still have the ability to make the torsion springs, and let's go with that and try that. And then we talked to the specialty ceiling group, John Bankston, some of the other guys up there, and they took a look at it and said, hey, we can do even better. We can design something that'll work better than the torsion spring system. And they came up with it. We called it a hybrid pans. Our pan system is a lay-in metal system, but we made a hybrid version of it with a special edge to work just for this project.
How is it better than what the competitor had to offer?
It's easier to access than the torsion springs system, where you have to kind of compress the springs to get the panels out. We offer, you know, the way ours fits together, it's easy to access the plenum, which is the space above the ceiling, and the price was a lot better.
That's great. I mean, just the fact that it's easier so that would be for maintenance and upkeep and that kind of stuff is just going to make that so much easier.
Right.
Okay.
And I love, Greg,
right.
this is Stacy again, but I love you so rarely hear about jobs that are a great design, like a very custom design, coupled with the fact that it installs easier, and oh, by the way, it's competitively priced. Like, how rarely do you hear those three things come together?
Yeah, so true. It makes for a great story.
There's one other story to tell, I guess, that Don and I just kind of stumbled on the job site. The mock-up was designed with, I don't even know if I should tell this, Don, huh? With spacer bars, but we found out in the field that regular 4-foot T's would hold the system together actually better and not intrude on the access. And so we ended up adding, just in the field between us and the contractor, we determined that the system was a lot more stable with the use of a 4-foot T about approximately every 8 foot or so along the mains.
So, and was that? Oh, I'm
This
sorry.
is Dwayne.
So Dwayne, does that make it, is it more stable even than it would have been with the original design?
Absolutely.
So,
And Don chime in here anytime, but the the contractor actually tried it, you know, while we were out there, and determined they had to determine which panels to put them over the top of, because it is accessible, and so some of the panels are not accessible, and so the T's had to go over the non-accessible panel, and just regular 422s. I mean, our standard 4-foot T.
okay.
Don, do you have anything to add to that, or?
It's no, not really. I don't know if that's key to our success here, but yeah, the contractor came up with some
No,
ideas.
it's not. It's
is
not.
what Dwayne
It's
But that's
not.
nice too. I mean, it
Something.
just shows that. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That's all right. But one of the things, the system, it went together very easily for the contractor. The foreman or the superintendent on the job had really no issues with it going together. Once all the pieces got to the job site and they started putting it up, he said it went as smooth as any ceiling he's ever put up. Which we were worried. It was a hybrid, like I said, a hybrid system that we had designed just for this job, and we were a little worried that if we had issues on the job, none of us had seen it before, and but everything went very, very smoothly.
What was the process for that? This is actually going to be my next question. So now that it's custom, so even the contractors had probably never seen anything like it. So did you guys, when it was delivered, did you guys go along with that first day delivery to show these guys, or did you use the samples that you made for the architect to show these guys how to actually install it?
Actually, it went through a process. It's called a mock-up, where you build a 10-foot by 10-foot section. And this is what Dwayne was talking about earlier. We actually made enough grid for them to build a 10-foot by 10-foot section, and it's called a mock-up. And they actually put that up first and let the owners, which is Ochsner Hospital, come in and look at it, and let them play with it a little bit. And once they had built the mock-up, after that, they really didn't have any questions on how to put the rest of it up. Once they put up the little section, and went together so well, they really didn't ask us to come out.
So they didn't. Were you out there for the mock-up building, or they just were able to? It was so easy, they were able to figure it out just during the building process of the mock-up.
I wasn't standing there when they put it together, but we told them, hey, the parts, when the parts come in, give us a call if you need help. But I mean, they whipped it right up, and same thing with the ceiling when the ceilings came in.
Don, we were out there twice, I know, and
yeah.
After the mock-up was built, we were we had a little bit of a delay in getting the mock-up approved, that overlapping the actual order itself for the entirety of the rest of the building, and so that was slow, but it all came together very well, and the architect is very happy. So
yeah, what else could you want?
Yeah, we were. Yeah, when Dwayne and I were out there, we were like, are there any problems? Is it going together well? Or you have any questions? And the contractor was like, no, everything's going very smoothly, which is great for us.
Because it's a custom build, was it sent with any sort of special instructions or anything like that?
Drawings.
Okay.
Yeah.
And a layout.
Yeah.
Don, you can elaborate on that.
It's kind of a random pattern. The way it's designed, the architect designed a random pattern. All the panels are not the same size. There's 17 or 18 different panels, Dwayne, depending on if they were perforated or not perforated in different sizes.
I think it was 18.
I'm trying to remember from our parts list.
Excluding the wall panels.
18 different panel sizes. And so they came labeled, in this run, you'd have panel A, B, D, E, that type information and on the drawings. And the guys took those drawings and found the panels and put them up in order to get this kind of random pattern that they were looking for.
Right. So it was random, quote unquote, because basically it's very specific but made to look random.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And each one of those panels is labeled to make sure that it achieves that vision.
Right.
At the factory, they're labeled.
Right.
So, I'll ask the contractor this if we get a chance to talk to him. But do you know, had he worked with the competitor's ceiling before, or did he have anything that I know he said it was probably the easiest he'd ever put up, but had he put up something similar that he would be able to compare to?
Probably, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I would say yes. I mean, metal ceilings are not super common, but I'm sure they put them up before.
Cool.
Yeah, they've been in business for quite a while. I'm not sure exactly how long, but for a while.
Cool.
Years. Stewart Interiors is their name. STEWART.
Okay. They're based out of New Orleans as well?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yes.
You'll see a Metairie address. That's kind of a suburb of New Orleans.
What's the process then for creating the custom ceilings on sort of a larger scale? And then, so this would be kind of a twofold question, but one is what is that process? Is it retooling like a factory for USG, or is it hand making each panel? And then, once that order was given the go, after they had fixed the wall that had collapsed, what went into making sure that it was done in that rapid timing that they were demanding now that the project was behind schedule?
You're gonna probably talk to the plant, the specialty group about that. I mean,
okay.
Yeah, maybe Ferris. What is Ferris's last name? Don.
Alcanar or Alcanar, something like that.
Yeah, ALK. And they would know that, but
okay. Stacey, if you think that's worth pursuing, maybe you could get us in touch with Ferris.
Yeah, I captured it. Yep.
And then Dwayne, when you were expediting that delivery, what was the timetable that you would normally do, and what was the timetable we were actually able to deliver on? Just so we can speak a little bit to how, again, USG will do whatever it takes to make sure the job can get done and get done right.
I'm trying to remember. It was go.
Yeah.
I think, I'm not sure what our original lead time estimate was. I'm not sure. But we moved on, and the guys at the plant did a great job moving on it. And I'm not sure. I mean, they were literally emails corresponding with the contractor and the distributor probably every third day, including weekends.
That's good to know.
But John Bankston or Greg Aaron may have more knowledge of that, of what the original lead time estimate was and what we ended up doing.
Was it fair to say, though, even if we just say, and on an expedited timeline after a construction setback or something like that, so we could at least indicate that it was faster than normal?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Don, what do you think? We had three pieces at the very end that they were trying to get in that were contractors are contractors. I don't. Would you make that statement, Don?
Yeah, that was for the add-on work, wasn't it? That extra room, the elevator room or whatever it was.
Yeah, with the walls, I guess.
Yeah, that was with the walls, so it's not really part of the ceiling.
Okay.
Yeah, remember they needed it like by mid-August or something like that, and I can't remember the dates either now. But yeah, it was push to get it all in.
And you
And
guys
then
were
we got
working.
the. Didn't you expedite the grid to get it in first? I can't remember now. Last year's fuzzy now.
I don't think so. Correct
That's
me
all right. You
if I'm
know,
wrong, Don.
Okay.
It's gotten cold on me, so I'm sorry. Other details passing over my brain.
no, it's a random question. I know, and it's definitely not the biggest part of the article by any means. It was just a random question. So
There was some talk with Sarah, Don, about bringing half of it in, but I think we produced it on time to ship it all
That's
together.
Right. That's right.
Was that the way it went?
Yeah, that's right. You're right.
Okay. So we shipped the majority of it complete to get them started, and there was discussion, frankly, about that subject about shipping part of it ahead of time and splitting it up. But I think the plant probably preferred to ship it all down in one crate, complete, and or as complete as we knew it to be at that time. So I don't know if the lead time and our production time, while internally it is outstanding, I don't know what the contractor would say about that.
okay.
I mean, he's not pro USG, he's not pro Armstrong, but he's pro himself. So I'm not sure what he would say. Okay.
Okay, I'll check with him, and we'll
Don,
see.
what do you think? What do you think Gordon would say? Or Sarah?
Who knows? Depends on his mood that day.
Right. I mean, it literally, guys. I mean, this is not an unfriendly contractor to USG, but it's not a pro USG contractor, if that makes any sense.
Sure, he's manufacturer neutral.
Neutral, yeah.
Neutral. Heavy price. And this was his daughter graduating from college, actually. I think it was her first project.
She was
Yeah.
Was it her first project? She did a good job also.
I think so. It was the first major project, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, first project of any size, and she did a great job also. I mean, they deserve credit for the installation. You know, I mean, we made it. They put it up. But there was a lot of back and forth. There was a lot of back and forth on the drawings, and she would catch things on the drawings and send it back to John Banks, and they had a lot of back and forth. So, John really did a lot on this project. I mean, a lot, and also, so he deserves an enormous amount of credit, and the mentioning of his name also, I think, on this.
You said John Mason?
No, John Bankston, Bankston.
Okay.
He's an in-house architect for us.
Okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha. I had John Banks down. Sorry. I got it. Anyway, okay.
Right.
Were there other attributes to the ceiling panel besides the fact that we were able to do the custom cut and installation and the price that appealed to the architect that you know of? Whether it was environmental or just the appearance, like once she had that sample in hand or saw some of the attributes?
Trying to think of the other attributes. You know, there were perforated panels and there were non-perforated panels. You know, we met her look that she was looking for was the main thing. And then
Are the
once we showed her
perforations
how the panels would go together, it kind of gives you a different look with the perforations. Having smooth panels and perforated panels, again, is part of the randomness of the mixing those gives you the randomness of the ceiling.
are those perforations customizable at all, or is it just like an even
Yeah,
perforation?
they are, but on this one, it's just the hole size. I mean, all the holes are the same size. It's not any kind of a picture or anything like that. Uh-oh. Did we lose somebody?
No, we're here.
You still there? Okay. I
Greg,
lost
are you
Greg's
there?
picture.
Greg?
Ooh, where'd Greg go?
I lost him.
So, okay, he'll probably hop back
It
on.
looks like it looks like Greg's still on. Greg?
He
All
may
right, well, I
be
have a
on
couple
mute.
of questions. Real quick, so did you guys mentioned the architect? I think her name was Michelle. Did you guys have any interaction with an interior designer for this project, or was it mainly Michelle?
Michelle was the
charge from
designer. Yeah,
design?
Michelle's an
Yeah,
architect, but she did the design on the ceiling, like this
yeah,
repeating random is what I call it, her repeating random pattern.
yeah. Okay.
It was
And then
basically her design.
how about you guys haven't mentioned anything about like a ceilings dealer? Like, were they kind of out of the picture because it was a specialty ceiling, or what? Was anyone involved in that capacity or that role?
Our distributor, we have a distributor in town who handles our ceilings. It's Acoustical Ceiling Supply.
Hi guys,
Daryl
sorry.
Hickman, here he is. Greg's back. Oh, no problem. Daryl Hickman, who is a former USG sales rep, works for Acoustical Ceiling Supply, and he was our contact there.
Okay.
And he was involved in the. We have to actually. He is the one who prices the the ceiling for the contractor and puts the orders in and that kind of stuff. Yeah, he was very instrumental and very involved.
Okay. And I beg your pardon, I don't have all my information at my fingertips, but did you guys send his contact information to us, and do you agree that we should maybe chat with him?
Yeah, and I don't know. I think I put it on there. I'm not sure, but his name is Daryl, Darryl Hickman, Hickman, and he's
Okay.
with Acoustical Ceiling Supply, who's the USG distributor for New Orleans.
Got it. Okay.
Daryl is very personable. We'll talk your ear off. So plan a long conversation when you talk to him. But
Okay.
But yeah, Daryl's actually all the orders run through them, and all the pricing actually runs through them, and so he was very instrumental in getting this stuff moved along too.
Okay. And just to make sure, you guys, sorry, Greg, you can chime in anytime, but so you guys mentioned, I know that Ochsner had used USG acoustical panels and other products previously, so they were, knowledgeable at some level about us and our product. Do you feel like that made their decision about using us for the specialty ceiling a little easier, or do you think that helped in any way? And if so, how?
Personally, I do think so. I mean, they use our acoustical on all their projects, special colors, things like that, and they are very happy with us. It's just, the look that the designer, I guess, and the owners, Ochsner, came up with and originally, we didn't have a product, in our standard offering that matched that design. And that's probably why, where they went with someone else. And then I'm sure they were very happy when we said, hey, we can do this, and our price is even better. There's a familiarity with using USG, and they were happy with that.
I'm not sure exactly what the title is, but they are, I guess I would call them a strategic account for us. So yeah, they do use our different colors, just a few, but I mean they with their standard panels and so forth. But they are a strategic account for us.
Okay.
For lack of a better way, they're in they fall under Chris Skelton's.
Yeah, got it.
Under her group.
Okay, yep, and we know Chris. Okay, and then sorry, Greg, one other question while I'm going here. One of you gentlemen mentioned the walls. I'd be remiss not to ask, were there any other USG products outside of ceilings as part of the job that we should mention, or no, that you know of?
I don't think they used our sheetrock on it.
You said there were other
Remember,
USG.
Dwayne, when we were walking through that?
No, they didn't. They did not use our gypsum boards.
Yeah.
There were some wall panels though that were added at the end.
Those were by
degree.
Ceilings Plus, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. The wall panels. Yeah, that was a small section at the end.
Right.
But it doesn't sound like maybe anything worthy of mentioning.
It wasn't a big part of the project.
Outside of wall panels, were there other? I mean, because you did mention maybe the ceiling panels, and you go ahead to cover this while I was off, but there were other USG ceiling panels?
Yeah, the acoustical ceiling panels in grid. Yeah, the
Okay.
acoustical panels in grid were USG in the rest of the project.
Right. And what was it, Don? Was it 80 or 120? I can't remember.
For what?
I think it was the contractor will know immediately. Sarah Stewart is her name. If you want to speak with her, she'd probably actually enjoy being interviewed. The mist tile. I'm sorry.
Who was that? Oh, the woman's name you just mentioned?
Sarah, Sarah. Is it our accents? I'm just joking.
It's the internet throwing us off.
I got you.
Stewart from Stewart Contracting was the project manager.
Her last name is Stewart. Right. Sorry, Don.
She was the woman who this was her first project out of school.
She may have had some smaller ones, but this was her first major project, and she worked for her father. Her father's name is Gordon, Gordon, and Don, who do you think would be appropriate to contact on that? Sarah, okay, you think?
Sarah, yeah, probably Sarah.
I mean, it was hers, and she did a good job on it. I mean, she did a good job on it.
Do I have her contact information or no? And if not, can you send it?
Yes.
I think I sent all that. Yeah, that was part of the list. The contact information.
Okay, terrific. Thank you.
Did you include how much product was used too, the square footage of what was used?
I don't know. Hang on just a second. I can find that for you really quickly.
About 30, 26 or 30.
26 or 30.
Well, Don's looking it up, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he may have already answered that question. I'm not sure. That's of the specialty material, and then
how much? Yeah, good.
The regular material would have been around. I think it was around 80,000 square feet. It may have been more than that.
It was just over 30,000 square feet.
Okay.
For the metal?
280 square feet was the ceiling.
And then do you have a list of how many acoustic panels or how much acoustic panels were needed?
I don't, but
think it was
Daryl
80.
Hickman, the name I gave you, Daryl can give you that too.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sarah could answer it probably off the top of her head.
Yeah.
But Daryl could as well.
Perfect. So, being a medical facility, were there any considerations? This kind of goes back to my attributes question, but especially for either one of those ceiling panels that needed to be addressed?
No, this is more. This is a lobby type area.
Okay. Okay.
And so we're not moving into any medical type rooms or anything like that. It was mainly, for looks, the appearance and was the main attributes of this ceiling.
Gotcha.
Accessibility.
So
they had to be able to get into it because there are.
I'm sorry, I think you cut off.
I was just saying the looks, the appearance, aesthetics, and then the accessibility. They had to be able to get into it because there is stuff going on above it.
Gotcha. And that's what's running up above there. It's like the ductwork and the electrical,
Ductwork.
Fire protection.
Right.
And everything you
HVAC,
mentioned.
fire protection, and electronics. In today's building, it's amazing how many wires are up there now.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, so I just have a couple more, and then I'll open it up to make sure that I haven't missed anything, just if there's other questions or if you guys have something that you want to get out that I haven't touched on. But the first is, a lot of times we'll put a contact in the project profile, not always. Sometimes it's just, visit usg.com. But if someone who read this had a specific question, and you could always get back to us on this, but if they wanted to contact someone about the project, would you guys want to have your names or someone else's name as that contact?
Don?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I mean, you can put me as a contact. I probably have the most knowledge of,
of the project
like
itself, and it's
not
easy enough to just.
It's not a standard product where you would, we could direct somebody to our USG website so they could see it.
Right.
So yeah, I have no problem with being a contact.
And if we can't send a photographer in, do you guys have any shots at all that you could send us so that we could really just showcase them in the profile?
I have them already, Greg.
Thanks, Stacy.
Yep.
I don't think it's a problem. Like I said, it's a lobby area. It's not like you're trying to get into in the inner workings of the hospital or anything. So,
right.
We have some pictures, but I don't mind. We're not complete. We were still in the construction phase.
And maybe the architect might have a couple, and maybe even a rendering or two we could use to sort of show the before and after.
Yeah.
And then here's my last one. I think is just I always like to ask if you guys have something about the project that you're most proud of, or this is your favorite thing about it. Is there anything that jumps to mind when I ask?
I would say the plant's responsiveness to our requests for delivery time for sure.
Yeah,
that was one. And then the ability to customize one of our products to meet exactly what the customer wanted. That's a lot of times, a lot of times you have to say we can't do that. You'll get a project where somebody will ask and we can't do it. We don't have the machinery to do it, or we don't have the ability to do it. But in this one, we said, hey, we can make some and get you exactly what you want at the price you want it. And it all came together.
It's awesome. And that's what you were getting at earlier too, Stacy.
Yeah.
You guys, anyone else have anything that I missed or that you want to ask yourself?
This is Barb. I just wanted to ask that if we after we get into writing this profile, if we have follow-up questions, I just want to make sure it's okay, Dwayne and Don, to reach back out to you and maybe through email and ask a couple more follow-up questions if we have them.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, no problem.
Thanks.
No problem.
Yeah, I'd say it's necessary to mention these. Don, of course, Richard Merlin, John Bankston, and that sort of thing. So are you asking us to take a look at it before it goes to print?
Yeah,
No,
we probably. Oh, sorry.
ahead.
Well, we usually do try to run it past you guys to make sure that you're everything's correct and that you're happy with what's in there, and also to your point, Dwayne, that we've mentioned everyone that should be mentioned. So if you guys want to see it, we'd love to run it past you. If you guys have other things on your plate, you definitely don't need to take a look at it. So that's kind of that's up to you, but we would love to run it past you in the final stages.
Good. That's no problem with me. That's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
And then this is Stacy, just one last question on our end. As we reach out to the folks, that you had provided, Don, previously, I did pull up your email, so thank you again for that. Do you have any sensitivities about us doing that? Do you want to be involved on those calls? Or if not, are there any questions we definitely should or definitely should not ask these people? I mean, you already gave us a little bit of a heads up on the contractor being USG neutral. Are there any other dynamics that we should be aware of as we reach out to these folks?
I can't think of any.
I can't think of it. Everybody else is pretty USG friendly, except the contractor. There were issues going along, and they may whine about this or that, but Dwayne warned you about that already. But yeah, everybody else involved is very USG friendly and very talkative and very open. So yeah, I don't have any problems with it.
The distributor will be very friendly, is very pro USG, has been for 40 years or something. Or more. But the contractor may take the opportunity to say something negative. I mean, I don't think Sarah will, because it was her first major job, and she's young, but she's very good. And so I would hope that she would just be honest and say how it went. She doesn't have a whole lot to compare it to, though, whereas her father would. But you know what, Don, chime in.
Yeah.
I mean, Gordon wasn't on the phone every day writing emails or doing anything. I mean, he pretty much left her alone. So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah, he really did.
Yeah, I mean, he really did it. She ran the job, and so, but she doesn't have a lot to compare it to. Just be advised of that.
Okay.
So she may say it went horribly, and when it really went pretty smoothly. Those of us that are over 25 years, I mean, in this business, I mean, it went very well actually. And Gordon, if I had to peg his age, I'd be wrong, but I'd say maybe 55. So, and he's been in this business for a long time. I don't know exactly how long, but and been on his own. So he may be a better one to, although he may delegate that immediately to Sarah.
Well, you know what, when Jen and I try to schedule these follow-up calls with Greg, we can ask Sarah if she feels like she would want her dad on the call. I mean, I don't think we'd want to do necessarily separate calls, but if he wants to hop on with her, that would be totally cool.
That's a good idea, actually. Yeah. I think that's a good idea.
Okay. All right, that's all we have on our end.
You guys, thank you so much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. And this is a really great story. It's really, really cool. So that your time was it's been invaluable. It was a pleasure meeting both of you guys too.
All right, stay warm up
Thank
there.
you. Yeah, Don deserves it.
Thanks, we appreciate it.
Have a good
Thank you.
I gotta go put
weekend.
on my short sleeve so
Take
it's
care.
hot in here. See you.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Scott.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye now.
Bye.